Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to install the floor. Now remember, we pulled all the old floor out, we've painted, we've primed, we've done everything we need to do, and we're going to install the new floor. Those are actually the 2-foot cutoff ends of a previous floor I did. I used 2x10s, alright, which are really like 9 by whatever, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, whatever they are. You know, they're not the full dimensions. But anyway, they generally come, the shortest one is 8 foot long. So I've got to take that, I got to cut about 2 foot off of it. I'll measure here to double check. So I'm going to make it a roughly 71.5 inches. All right. So I've got a tape measure, of course, safety glasses, gloves. I'm going to wear some earplugs too. I've got carpenter's pencil. Got a speed square to help me draw straight lines. I'll be using this is a battery operated 20 volts circular saw I use to trim it up. And so I'll do that. I'll make the cuts I need, put them in here. And then I'll also be using a drill to drill the holes, and I use 1/4 inch by probably 2.5 inch carriage bolts to go through there, and put a flat washer, split washer, and nut on the bottom to lock them in place. I'll just put 2 per board to minimize the amount of bolts in there. That'll be plenty sufficient to hold them in place, but it'll just make it for a cleaner look once they're installed. All right, what you want to do is pick which end of the board you want to cut off, whether there's more knots, you know, which end's prettier is the one you want to keep, basically, if that makes sense. So I'm going to measure here and get probably, I'm going to go 71 3/8. Should make for a good one. You know, double check, measure twice, cut once. Want to be sure here. Be sure. This is where that speed square comes in handy. Pencil didn't show up very good, so I'm going to double check again. Put it in place. Scoot it out. I want it to overhang just a hair. Now you got to set your blade to where it's going to go deep enough. I think this one's, yeah, this one's set deep enough. But if it wasn't, then you just loosen this and it would lower this blade down a little bit and tighten it back up. So we're good to go there. We'll go ahead and make a cut. This end of the board is going to drop off. Alright, these are those 2-inch sections, or 2-foot sections. Like it's in there. These are excellent for, you know, you might use them to chalk your wheels. A lot of times I use them to put under a jack if it's not if the jack's not tall enough. They're really good for that. So then this board, we'll slide it right in there. Fits like a glove. So what I'll do, I'm gonna take that board, I'm gonna scoot it all the way to that end because that's the way this tray do. Slide this board in here. You can get it underneath there. Alright, that's gonna slide over. Rubber mallet's good. For if it gets bound up, you can just tap it into place. But a lot of times you just do it with your hand. See that? There's a weld there. It's getting in my way. Alright. That's in. Do the same thing. Cut another board, slide it in, cut another board, slide it in, cut another board, slide it in. Then you'll end up with a gap. You can either choose to place the gap in the middle, which will be the smaller board, or you can place it on an end. There's no right or wrong way. One thing I'm also going to do as I go along is I'm going to drill my 1/4 inch holes while I can see this angle iron cross member here that I'm going to secure it to. Guys, I got a 1/4 inch drill bit. And this 1/4 inch drill bit, I want to also be sure everything's lined up here when I do this. But I got this 1/4 inch drill bit. I'm going to drill one hole, and it's going to go through this angle iron. I'm going to drill another hole through that angle iron. And that'll allow me to put in I'll have 1/4 inch by probably 2.5, maybe 2 1/4, probably 2.5 inch carriage bolts. And I'll put that in there. And I'll secure it to the frame cross members that way. I go through them because I drill through a lot of metal with these. And sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't. Let's see what a fresh drill bit looks like. Hey, that went through no problem. A brand new drill bit, nice and sharp. Not burn up, so I'll show you what it'll do now. There you go. That's the difference between a burn up, used up drill bit and a brand new one. They're only a few bucks. It's worth it to get. Alright, here's what I'm going to be putting in there. 2.5 inch carriage bolts. You can use zinc, you can use stainless, whatever. I got these 1/4 inch nuts, 1/4 inch split washers. Some people call them lock washers. And these flat washers. I'm going to be putting them in there. I got a 7/16 ratchet. So this is another way this kind of comes in handy. Dust that off a little bit. Remember, I got a 1/4 inch hole, I got 1/4 inch bolts. It can be kind of tight. I just kind of tap it down in there where it's flush. I do the same thing on this end. Alright, now for dexterity purposes, I'll take my glove off right quick. And then, so we go flat washer, split washer, and then nut, okay? That's how that's the order of operations there. So, You can feel it, or if you need to, you know, you can crawl underneath there, look underneath there. That's the point of doing these one at a time. Also, it's so it works out better in the long run because you got access here, access there, access most of the way. Just drop that down there. Keep an eye on them; those suckers will run away from you. This one as well. Alright, now they're on there. Now the carriage bolts, they actually, the head of the bolt is what bites into the board. It's got a square section there, so it's actually biting into the board. So you don't want to like cinch down super tight or you'll lose what's going on there. So we'll tighten her down. I like to tighten it down where it starts to suck it down in there just a little bit. That's good. You know, because you don't want the head of that thing sticking up forever. Alright, there we go. Now, there's floorboard number one. Alright? This thing is solid. It ain't going nowhere. So you just add more boards and more boards and more boards until you've got your whole floor done. Like I said, at some point, it depends on personal preference. If you want to put your, you know, a lot of times it won't be exactly all your boards across. You have to cut one down the middle. And when you do that, you have the choice. You can either put it against one of the sides or you can put it in the middle. In this case, the serving window is going to be over here. I'm going to have a back wall essentially there. So I'll probably just put it against that back wall, my skinny board. It just won't be a full 2x10. It might end up being a 2x6. You know what I mean? I might have to strip that thing down the middle. Anyway, you just continue on and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, so here's the finished floor. All right. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full 2x10s. And I got this partial one that's 2 1/4. I could have got away with buying a 2x4 and ripping it, and it would have worked out perfect. But instead, I'd already bought the 2x10, so I just ripped it. So if you notice, I've got, and it's flush against that floorboard because there's going to be wall wood stacked on top of that. I've got 2 carriage bolts in each one that are tied to that angle cross member, all right, in the frame. There's only one that's off center. This one, the reason it is because there's a conduit, square tubing conduit for the trailer lights that comes through there. And so I had to move it off center just a hair. It's really not that noticeable. And then the only board, this one, I did not fasten for one thing, because I put that board in before I put this board in, because there's a lip in the front and the back for that. So I had to slide it under that lip, so it's not coming out. Also, there's going to be wall wood stacked on top of that. So that is what the finished floor looks like.